Hi, welcome to MCD2020 Microeconomics. My name is Dr. Yolanta Kwiecien and I'm the unit leader for this subject. My contact details are below, or they just arrived. My office extension is 34399. From my many years of experience in teaching economics, students arrive to the class with all sorts of misconceptions about the subject, convinced that the subject will be either the most difficult or the most boring subject they ever take. Instead of being discouraged by this, all your teachers and myself will view this as a tremendous opportunity to rise above your expectations, wow you, and have a real and important impact on your life. Micro is fun and interesting, I could tell you this. I've spent 10 years of my life studying economics, but probably you will ask me, but will it be hard? And my answer for your question is, yes, it can be hard, but how you study can make a tremendous difference. It means how to study microeconomics to be very successful in this subject. Please let me give you an advice. For a start, use the resources you have, lecture notes, textbook, tutorial material in the workbook. Attempt all assessments throughout the trimester. Ask questions. There is nothing like a stupid question. All questions are good questions. We are here as teachers to help you to explain any question. During class, ask your teacher. Talk with your other colleagues, of course, about microeconomics. Try to participate in class activities. Work with other students in the class. Also, you could ask for student-teacher consultations outside the class hours. Be engaged. Participate in class activity. Do not only come to the class physically, but also participate, be engaged, be involved in what is going on in the class. Of course, you must come to weekly lectures and tutorials. If you are planning to have very good marks in this subject, like high distinction and distinction, you have to think about attendance. We want you to come every week to the lecture and tutorials. I know that you are very bright young people and you are not only thinking about passing this subject, but you want to do well. And of course, ask your teacher, ask me. We are here to help you and to answer all your questions. Required textbook. We ask you to buy Principles of Microeconomics, but it must be the 6th edition. It shouldn't be any problem in buying this textbook. You could go, for example, to the campus center and bookshop to buy the textbook. All students must purchase this 6th edition. For students who are considering continuing studying economics in the following trimester, with selecting, for example, macroeconomics, I strongly advise you to buy Principles of Economics, because when you will buy Principles of Economics, you will have like 2 textbooks for this trimester and the next trimester. Now, in addition to the textbook, tutorial questions, all taught material you have in the workbook, which I prepare based on many years of teaching Monash College students. This workbook will be given to you in week 1, session 1 tutorials. Tutorials in this subject are divided into 2 sessions every week, session 1 and session 2, 1 hour and a half and 1 hour and a half. Other recommended readings, lecture slide, weekly quizzes, assignments, you will find them on Moodle, and I expect you to check Moodle site at least twice per week. We also expect you to come to lecture with lecture slides printed out, just to take notes during the lecture. A roadmap, the list of topics that we are going to study in this subject. Of course, I'm not going to explain all of those topics, but just to give you some brief idea. In the first 6 weeks, our discussion will be dedicated to the market. It means we're going to discuss supply, demand side of the market, how the price is determined, what is the role of the government on the market. After the first 6 weeks, it means when we finish lecture 6, we will have the group of topics, 4 topics, dedicated to the analysis of the individual company. It means we'll discuss cost in the company, profit in the company, and we will try to discuss how the company could maximize the profit in different market structures. The last 2 weeks of the trimester, week 11 and 12, will be dedicated just to the revision. It means the last new topic will be introduced in week 10 lecture. Weekly schedule, it could be a bit complicated. Just let me give you an example. Let's assume you come to week 1 to lecture 1, and the topic of this lecture is what is economics. Your lecturer will provide you with the information, which chapter or chapters to read following the lecture, and also which questions from the workbook you need to answer in writing before coming to tutorials in the following week. And in the following week, tutorial week, you will have the same topic, what is economics, in tutorials. In the first session of weekly tutorial, in the beginning, your teacher will check your homework. It means all those questions that you are asked to answer in writing. And in the same week, week 2, you would be able to attempt a quiz online. Those quizzes will be open on Tuesday morning, and I will close them every Sunday night. And of course, when you will do all those quizzes, and in the quiz you have 10 multiple choice questions in 10 minutes, only 1 attempt, please do not forget, you will be as happy as the student. Yes, I've done it. It means you've done topic what is economics. It means we will repeat the same cycle for every of those weekly topics, but every week new topic will be introduced in the lecture and reinforced in tutorials in the following week. Assessment. Assessment, as you could see, this girl, and she is terrified. Now, we have continuous assessment in weeks that will start in week 2 and will finish in week 11. And we have 2 components to this weekly assessment. The first one is the class participation. But please remember, your class participation marks are not based on you physically coming to tutorials. You need to do pre-class questions from the workbook, and you need to be engaged in the class discussion. In addition to weekly participation marks, you would be able to get marks from weekly quizzes in the same week, starting week 2 and finishing in week 11. They will give you those 2 pieces of assessment. In total will give you 10% and 10% of your final mark. The biggest assessment is your mid-semester test. Please do not plan anything big. On Saturday in week 7, a mid-semester test will give you 20% of your final mark. And a mid-semester test is based on multiple choice questions taken from the first 5 topics. The last piece of assessment is week 11, research assignment, individual research assignment, which will give you 10% of your final mark. And of course, in the end, in week 13, when you finish your classes, 2-hour final exam, contributing 50% to your final mark. Please remember that to be as happy as this group of students, when you will pass this subject, probably with very good marks, you need to achieve at least 40% in the final exam and 50% overall. I hope that my presentation was helpful. My best wishes for a fantastic trimester.